better call somebody!
You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.
The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be.
A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE.
Give me a hell yeah!
Now, let's meet the host. Kyle Gagliardi.
The face that runs the place.
Jim Tucker. And Erica Marini.
I'm the boss. I'm the blueprint. I'm the standard.
Well, I think we've had enough talk. It's time for the main event.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM Kyle Gagliardi, and my co-host is my good friend, Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Tucky!
What's going on? Happy early January.
I guess. I mean, there's a few things going on in the pro wrestling world, but let's step aside from wrestling for a second. Let's do that.
Before that, look at you, Adam Cole. Look at me.
Look at us, just a power couple, right?
Not
here.
planned.
Was not planned. For those listening at a later time, Tucky's got his Britt Baker DMD shirt on, and I got my All About the Boom Adam Cole shirt on.
Baby, wow.
It was a very good AEW Dynamite that we will be talking about in the back half of the show. But obviously, a lot of other things taking up headlines. But before we get to that talk, how the hell are you doing? I know baseball season is slowly approaching for you guys.
Yeah, a little bit. We have tryouts like three, almost 4 weeks earlier than Indiana. Our season, the JV season, is done the first week of May. And the championship round of sectionals in Indiana is Memorial Day. So
that's right.
That like second week of May is the first round for varsity, but life is good. You know, had a full kind of school week, which is new. Going to have 5 days in this whole week. We had 2 snow days, so I'm kind of getting back in the swing of.
Is this like the first full week in 3 weeks for you?
Grindy, yeah, a little bit. So
I feel so bad that you have to work a normal schedule, Todd.
I know, dude. It's dumb, and I like my job too. So that's what other people get upset about. But yeah, life is good, dude. How about you?
Everything's good over here. I had a little bit of a scare today at work, so we were unloading a truck because that's what we do on Thursdays. We have big deliveries here in Northwest Indiana. If you don't know, I sell alcohol, people. So we're throwing cases.
No, he sells alcohol. There's a comma there. He sells alcohol. You said I sell alcohol, people, and I'm like that. That's right. That's
well, I mean, I am selling alcohol, people, because the people that buy alcohol, 2 people. Yeah, I know. The English teacher in you is coming out here. But yeah, I bent over at the end of the truck, and my hip like just locked up, and I don't know what was happening. Maybe it's because I'm turning 30 in a couple months, and I almost fell face first off the end of the truck. And thankfully, one of my coworkers was there to kind of catch me in a way. So my hip just locks up at the age of 29 now. So that's a thing. Probably not a great sign.
You take like a multivitamin, something. We gotta get those joints greased, man.
Yeah, I took some Tylenol
oil or something. Yeah, you just gotta. The Tin Man, he had the can. You know, you just gotta.
That is very funny. You call me the Tin Man because my mom will tell this story better than me. But when I was younger, I was obsessed with the Wizard of Oz, and she has home video of me at like 3 or 4 years old going, "I'm Tin Man Kyle." So I was obsessed with the Tin Man. So that's funny.
The greatest rivalry in the Gagliardi family is Tin Man Kyle versus Pizza Pants.
We know Pizza Pants wins in 4, unlike the Elite who won in 7.
The OTM Wrestling Federation, that's for sure.
That is damn sure. So let's get into things. But actually, before we do, we of course got to bring up our wonderful merchandise site, the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. You can go get yourself a banger after banger after banger t-shirt because that's all we saw on Dynamite this week. What are some other things that people could buy on the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com?
Yeah, you a fan of Bryan Danielson? We got it. We got it. Brian Danielson appreciation shirt. It's kind of snarky, white shirt, light gray font, under, subdued in the Brian Danielson fashion logo wear. Do you need a mug, another mug for your coffee? We got it.
Well, where's it at? Hold on. Right there. You see that in the background? OTM mug right there.
Mugliarda right there. I know it. So I think the next thing we need to do is come out with action figures. So we got to work on that. But on the markwrestlingpodcast.com, do it.
Do it today. Do it next week. Support the show. We appreciate you all. And we appreciate everybody tuning in live right now. SCW Steve in the house. We haven't seen him live in a couple of weeks. He says, on the mark, get set. Let's go. Hashtag OTM. Of course, Robbie Collins is in the house as well. The MVM of OTM. Wrestling fans this week, he's saying zero sleep, refreshing Twitter every 2 seconds.
You got to ice the thumbs, man. We've been busy. People have been working. We have kind of ridden the roller coaster of emotions.
So yeah, let's just get to that roller coaster of emotions to start off episode 130, because Tuesday night was pretty hectic if you were on Twitter and any other social media, because the IWC was up in arms after reports of the WWE potentially selling to Saudi Arabia. And this report comes out, of course, after the fact that, and this did happen, by the way, Stephanie McMahon officially resigned as co-CEO. So Nick Khan is now just CEO of the WWE. A lot of people started to speculate, talk that because she resigned from that position, that is why this purchase of the WWE by Saudi Arabia happened. We wake up the next morning, Ariel Helwani breaks some news that there is no facts to the reports that were stated the other night, and that, yes, they are active. They are looking to sell media rights and whatnot, but there is no done deal in place with Saudi Arabia. So first off, a lot to take in here, obviously, with Stephanie stepping away. Let's go to that first. How do you feel about that news? Because she just recently returned, worked for 8 months, and once again, stepping away from the company.
Not only stepping away, resigning, right? The end of the press release is not, I'm taking this one a step further with my resignation. She was taking time off and that was interrupted, right? So like, it was a gift that she was back in the first place. It's kind of tough though, because I feel like Stephanie has a good track record, has a good resume, and a good rapport with the locker room. And when you lose a piece like that, not from a talent standpoint, but from a logistical, how the company is run standpoint, you lost a kind of a big piece. That coupled with the other news coming up is tough.
It is. And obviously Stephanie had, like you said, a good rapport backstage with talent. And you saw reports too, when she did resign from WWE, that a lot of people were kind of sad about it. And I don't blame them. She seems like good for morale in the company, especially for the women's division. She's been a big supporter for them. I don't think the women's division is in any danger with her resigning, but obviously having Stephanie McMahon there to, be that support system for them.
Credible. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was a big deal. So it is a sad thing to hear that Stephanie has resigned from the company. And then we go to the reports, and this is what got people going crazy. I was probably overreacting to these verified Twitter accounts. And this is another, problem I think with Twitter right now. And I don't know the name of the person who originally reported this, nor do I care. I don't think his name deserves to be said.
I think it was Butt Cheeks Magoo.
Butt Cheeks Magoo 69.
Yep, clown.
I hate that fucking guy. And this is, by the way, the same guy that reported this also said, Butt Cheeks Magoo, he said that Mercedes Moné was going to show up at Dynamite too. So a swing and a miss twice this week for old Butt Cheeks Magoo.
Yeah.
So when you did hear that false report, what was your reaction? Because it obviously couldn't have been a positive one.
It was more confusing. So it was like the WWE has been sold to the Saudis, and I was like, is that like 10 crown jewels a year now? Like, I have no idea.
Michaels for every main event.
No idea like what that meant. And now spending some time in the comment sections and things like that, like the idea that there's a big cash infusion and those that are selling making a lot of money, but also turning private coming with it is intriguing to some people. Less transparency. It just feels so unknown. I think that's what the ruckus is about. If Disney bought it, would you be mad? Like,
no,
with that money and production level and the ability to go between like, I think you say the word Saudi, and I think people still get up in arms. They own Starbucks, so we drink the coffee.
"Quote unquote" blood money. That's what they say about the Saudi money.
I just hope the product doesn't change, man. Triple H, we need.
Oh, it would change if Saudis bought WWE. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I think majority of the audience is, and like you said, I think the only positive that would come out of it is just that unlimited checkbook, so they would be able to poach talent probably for a shit ton of money, do whatever they want on the production value. But we don't want any of that because women are going to probably be wrestling in full suits. They get one match maybe every week. It just wouldn't be best for business, and it would probably be the death of the WWE. But we don't have to talk as if they did purchase it, because that is a false report. So let's talk about some of the names that we are seeing, potential buyers. You have Disney being a big one, and I saw somebody tweet, I think his name is the Chan Man on Twitter. This idea, I believe, though, came from NoDQ.com. I'm not 100% sure, but I did have an interaction with him, and he shared an article last night. He's like, the possibilities with Disney are very intriguing, because you look at what Disney has done for like the Avengers and stuff. You have like amusement parks, merchandise. There's just a lot of different things that you can do that can add to the brand of the WWE that interests me.
Disney knows how to make money. You know what I mean? They in that same vein, I think from the same post, like a physical Hall of Fame to go to. They have the archives, like they have the money to fund that and jumpstart it in a way that I don't think WWE wants to like handle, if that makes sense. It's just another thing on somebody's plate when their thing is live events and the tour. So and that's familiar, and Disney feels safe as a player. It's Disney, and there's edginess within the Disney universe, things like that. They'll go there, so I don't think the product would change super much.
Yeah, I think my first initial thought with Disney was like it would become too kid centered, like that would be the demographic, and it would kind of be a dumbed down version of the WWE that we are used to. But I don't think that's the case after looking into it some more. But there's other interesting names out there. You see Amazon, Netflix, Comcast, NBC. How would you feel if WWE just became a streaming service and you had to watch Monday Night Raw on Netflix every week?
Whatever. That's the world we live in. If it would be available on the app when it's available for the Central and Eastern time zone, the way it is not right now, I would be 1,000,000% for it, because
are all your shows not live then technically in the West Coast?
The only thing I get live is Dynamite at 5:00 my time, because we have TBS, the TBS East channel. Raw comes on at 8 our time, which is 10 your time. And then SmackDown also comes on from 8 to 10 our time, which is an hour after SmackDown ends in the Central time zone. So there are sites, there are things, but it's always like through an iPad connected to a TV and stuff. So it's
right.
User experience isn't great, but that is the world we live in. I like the Disney pitch to me. That's my kind of front runner. Because I hope I can benefit more from theme parks and that like
selfishly, I think there's more to gain for the fans. I think
a WWE Disney vacation, WWE, like they did the Disney.
Well, look
store,
at what Robbie
WWE
said.
store.
Imagine a WWE theme park and you have a drop tower called the Rock Bottom.
Oh, there's plenty of catch. How about a friendly game in the amusement park of Stone Cold Stunners, where you just run around with tasers trying to tase the shit out of people?
Or there's just random impromptu matches going on with WWE characters. Roman Reigns is just Superman punching the fans.
Could you imagine like indie wrestlers working at the WWE theme park?
Oh my God, what an idea.
Doing matches, like trying to get in, hey, that's work. Like it's a house show. Like but you don't have to wait till 7:00 at night. Bingo and Bozo, you guys have the 11 a.m. slot. You guys have a ladder match. Go get them.
You're working Main Street over there by Mickey. That's what you're doing over there, brother. That would be cool. You get like Marco Stunt, how he was in GCW, where he like imitated the Big Show. He'll be the little show though at the WWE Park. The possibilities are endless here, people. We're in the think tank right now. So, and like Robbie said, if it was Saudi that bought it, it would be Goldberg. And Vogus agrees. He says Saudi money equals Goldberg as Universal Champ. So Vogus is supporting it, right? Steve's asking a question though. If WWE was purchased by a Netflix, for example, would you be a fan of WWE having an off season?
Absolutely not.
Really? You're not for it?
Wait,
oh, come on, you dick.
Quit it. Stop. No.
Yes, I would.
Or
elaborate.
Or like SmackDown's off for a month. You know what I mean? Right?
Yeah.
And if you were on SmackDown, you have a month. Go travel or go be at home with your family for a month. Cool, but Raw keeps going.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Then Raw goes off for just having a little bit each week, because if you go down to one, if you cut out Raw for a month, you're not gonna you'll be all right,
yeah,
and SmackDown too. So like but
I think the one issue too would be competition. Wouldn't you think? Like if WWE stopped for a month and everybody just goes to watch Dynamite now, and then they gain fans from it, that's where it could get dicey.
I do like the value of the rest periods for the the talent, things like that, for sure. So
sorry, you got me mid drink there. I thought we were still going. It's all right. Fuck it. We do it live. Stanley in the house. He says, "What's up, guys?" And he said, "Definitely not." To Steve's question, I think that's a fair question though, because with the streaming services, that could be a possibility. Could be. Speaking
of Netflix, have you watched Kaleidoscope?
I don't even think I've heard of it.
It's dope. You got to check it out.
What's it about?
It's about a guy that's engineering a heist, but the interesting part is you can watch any episode in any order and it still makes sense. The order that they suggest to you will be different than the order that I've watched it in. So like it doesn't matter. And so every episode's called a color, like a color title: black, orange, green. And there's like that color is like all throughout the episode too. Very cool. We're not done with it, but we started on yellow and my sister-in-law started on the black episode. We haven't got to the black episode. It was her first one. It's great.
That's fun. I like that. You're gonna have to send to me the name through a text message so I can look it up afterwards. Sure. A lot of people checking in the chat. What's going on? Bash Lovers in the house. He says, "What up?
What up?"
And he said, "Cool setup. Thank you. We appreciate that." But last second predictions from the chat and from yourself, Tuck. If the WWE does make a sale, who is the buyer?
Not Leo. My dog was trying to make a bid. It will not be Leo. His broke ass.
Leo's just got a jar of treats.
Disney. Because the WWE just got a test run of what the reaction would be if they sold to Saudi, and it didn't feel very strong. You know what I mean? Like it was fake. It didn't happen, but people believed it for a little bit. We all did, and we're like, we were dealing with the grief of this situation, and they understand now. At least at minimum, they're going to be aware of a strong reaction to Saudi. So I go Disney.
That's a great point, because I think they had to have seen the uproar that was caused by this fake report, and now seeing that, you got to think, oh, we're going to be losing a lot of fans, and we don't want that. How about this prediction? We got a lot of them in the chat. The Khan family. There are reports that Tony Khan and Shad Khan are one of the bidders for WWE.
Jeez.
Could you imagine that? Then there would be no competition.
Well, and that was the world we lived in for a while, but like that would be weird. The dude does the AEW stuff. Tony Khan would ruin WWE.
Probably.
They're not the same. Like he would have to adapt to that style if he wanted to keep it that way, right? A little more sports entertainery, production-y.
He could still, keep WWE what it is and do AEW the way he wants to.
No, backdoor
They got
deals,
money.
working
It's
talent.
not impossible. It is
No.
not impossible. Steve's makes sense. He predicts Fox. I don't know this name. Shane Newberg. Do you know anything about that name?
That is a fellow that I have in an English class. What is a student of mine?
Oh, really?
Very talented student. Very a lot of potential in that kid.
Will not be buying the WWE though. Correct.
Well, not soon, right? I don't think he's got the assets right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the future he did. He's got talent. I'm a believer. So
keep an eye.
Did you already shout out Donna?
No, I did not. I have to pull it up. The weekly hello from my mother. Hello, Mom.
Donna, while we move on to the next topic, if you're still here with us, would love to get a little more context on the Wizard of Oz 10-man Kyle ordeal. He gave us the spark notes of it. I would love to hear it from your angle.
I think
Kyle in the chat.
She basically would word it the same way that I did. I think I pretty much summed it up there, but she could probably further explain it some more. So yeah, we obviously had to talk about that because that's really what took up a lot of the headlines here early on in this week. Robbie Collins is just talking about Clash of the Clan. What is it called? Clash of the Clans,
Clash
right?
of Clans.
Yeah, I don't play phone games. That's a phone game, right?
Not it is. I was kind of deep into it. It was becoming a $2, $3, $4, $5 a day kind of problem for me. And that kind of, so.
And now your problem is behind you.
And the box down here has 10 more figures that haven't even got to shelves yet. Like,
oh my God. You have a beautiful setup though. You're going to have to take a picture of that and put it on social media. We have to share that setup.
YouTube video figure tour thing. But it is impressive for me having this collection for 6 months. I mean, it's not bad, so kind of I'm pretty happy.
Did you get an AEW title too? And I never heard of it.
What?
Above there, did you get an AEW?
That's the toy one. Yeah, the toy one.
It looks like the real one from far away.
There we go.
I was like, just go buy a replica on me and not tell me?
Oh no, that's the toy one. It's tiny. It looks like the Diva. So the Diva's
is that the one
or the old women's?
Yeah, I had that one when we were doing YouTube predictions. Remember that? And we would hold the belts. I think that was one of them, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day. Speaking of YouTube, more YouTube content will be coming. I don't know about Sunday shoots, perhaps, but with baseball season coming up for Tuck, his availability will be going down slightly. We will have part-time co-hosts as well to fill in for that void. But if we cannot come to an agreement on a recording time, I will start doing some YouTube videos, maybe even Tuck if he finds extra time as well. Don't know what it's going to be about, but it's probably going to be about wrestling. That's all I got.
I know. I would do unboxing videos, but I refuse to unbox my figures. So
you used to do the crate unbox, the pro wrestling crate reveals?
I did.
Do you still do that?
Do
you still buy them?
Oh yeah, every month they show up.
Bring it back.
Maybe I could bring that back. That's not hard.
Yeah,
so.
You can do that. You can do that. So let's move on here to Tuesday night. Come Tuesday, some would say, on NXT. What? Am I not allowed to say that? This is my podcast too, Jim.
We got kids in the chat, man.
Yeah, that's fine if kids are in the chat. This you know when YouTube asks you, is this show made for kids? You know what I say? No. So here's to you.
Okay.
Tuck's like, I'm going to get fired. Let's get to NXT. Did you watch, by the way?
Nope.
Okay. But you are aware of what kind of went on, right?
My thumb has been on the pulse. I didn't get to it that Tuesday. That was 2 days ago, right? This week.
Yes, it was. Yeah, this week's. It was a solid show. We can just go through some bullet points that happened. This probably will be a good recap for you. The first thing I want to talk about, Dijak. He is the new #1 contender for the North American title. Obviously just returned to NXT and was repackaged after the terrible T-Bar stuff. I know you might not have seen much of the new Dijak, but what's your feel on this character? Because to me, It's like the NXT 2.0 gimmicks where it's like very, very cheesy.
It's not. Well, was he T-Bar?
Yeah.
It's not T-Bar. It's not that much better, but we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, over time, that he gets his foot in the door and can kind of like shed it. I don't know. Maybe he's got to earn it back. I don't love it.
I don't know why can't we just go back to Dominik Dijakovic when he was having bangers with Keith Lee during the pandemic? That was great. That was working.
Why can't we just go back to feasting our eyes?
Vogus, big feast your eye guy. He loves that one.
The cameo that I got for him for his birthday years ago when he was still Dominik Dijakovic is irrelevant. But yeah, it was kind of funny having a cameo where Dominik Dijakovic is telling Vogus that he can feast his eyes. That's
exactly. Funny. Stan's never seen an episode of NXT. I would say it's worth the watch. It's different than most wrestling shows. Is the best way I can describe it.
Yeah, but as a dad, he's got kids, dog. He's busy trying to provide for the fam, holding it down. Yeah. Hours. It's that NXT is the thing that gets added in if I have time. It's not I don't have time a lot of time.
I have been asked this question because I have a lot of time on my hands usually. I'm watching every show live, but everybody's like, if you had to cut out one show, what would it be? It's going to be NXT. Yeah. I feel like I couldn't cut out AEW Dynamite
because I don't even.
The only good one they got.
I don't count Dark, like Dark Elevation. I don't count Rampage really either.
I count.
Those are things that happen, but those are shows that happen. But that's all kind of filler too.
Yeah,
to me,
for the most part, yeah. Steve feels that Dijak will be our next North American champion. Him versus Wes Lee would be very entertaining, just from the big dude and the small guy. The story writes itself.
Yep, athletic big dude that can work, and hit some spots.
Yeah. So that's one of the things that happened on New Year's Evil. Another thing, and this was pretty significant because we're going all the way back. Here's a callback to a man that was in the very first NXT Championship match, and Jinder Mahal returns to NXT. And he looks like he's going to be a part of Indashare, which makes sense because, Jinder, when he was WWE champion, had the Bollywood boys. That worked out. And now he's got these new, large, big, athletic henchmen. This could be something really good for Jinder Mahal, I think.
Oh, he didn't have much at the main roster at this point in time. And that's a strength of the WWE, having the NXT to go down and touch it up. I think that's a proper use.
I swear these look like spam comments. Wow, I love WWE. I'm so happy this popped up on my feed, but we're happy it popped up on your feed too.
Player.
The dude plays Kahoot. Steve said he is with us. He watched this week, but NXT has become the show to watch if time allows. So what you were saying basically, and I know Steve's a very busy man. He said Impact and Rampage have fallen into that category for myself as well. Rampage definitely is in that category. And I know Steve is going to have somebody agree with him with this comment. Steve said, we will miss the dancing Shanky.
Oh, yeah.
Vogus is a big fan of Shanky, Steve. So you two could bond about a dancing Shanky for a while.
Isn't it funny what he likes sometimes? You know what I mean? Like
who? Vogus?
What Vogus ends up liking, becoming like peculiarly attached to. Like he's not interested in the Otis like heavy machinery Tucky stuff that like he didn't like that. Dancing Shanky, now we're talking,
He's a very unique wrestling fan, and I think that's what makes him a really good fan, is because you really can't pinpoint who a Vogus guy is. And if you guys don't know who Ryan Vogus is, he's been a day one listener, been on this show a few times, and he goes to wrestling events with us. But he likes some weirdos. In my opinion, they're weirdos. But
yeah,
he could think I like some weirdos as well. So yeah, Jinder Mahal with those two should be pretty interesting. I don't know if he's NXT champion material. Do you think he could maybe get a run against Braun Breaker?
Feels weird. I don't know.
That's could weird. Be a main roster thing though with Indashare and Jinder. I could see that on the main roster.
Yeah, take it up, see how it goes.
Are you guys going to the WWE in March? I don't think I'm going to any. Oh yeah, well, WrestleMania week's the last weekend of March, and beginning of April, kind of. So I guess technically we are.
I'm going to Revolution in March.
Yeah. That's
and
right.
JPW, I think there's like 5 tickets left if you're interested.
What was that announcement last night? Because I saw New Japan tweet they had one.
Well, I don't know.
Do you know? Oh, okay.
No.
I think they tweeted it last night during Dynamite that they had an announcement about the show that you're going to, which is February 18th, right? February 18th?
Yeah. It's only like a 2,000 seat venue, so there's not going to be a bad seat in the house. So
that's going to be so much fun for you.
2,000 decent crowd, but everyone's got a great view. Let's party.
Hey, look at that. Xavier's going to Revolution as well. He said, me too. Revolution. Look at that. Look for Tucky. I don't know what shirt he's going to be wearing, but I'd be wearing my Revolution
I'll have 10 more by then. It's a problem. What's that?
Yeah. Steve said, can definitely see Braun versus Jinder happening. Maybe a filler Tuesday special. Really hope we get Braun versus Carmelo Hayes for Stand and Deliver. And I think Tuck and I would agree with you there. That is the matchup that I want to see at WrestleMania weekend. I think this all has been leading to it as Braun Breaker has defeated almost everyone. Just beat Grayson Waller via DQ because a rope broke. That was very weird finish, but they're going to do it again at Vengeance Day. I still don't think Grayson Waller gets the win. Is that a match you'd be in to see as well, Tuck? Carmelo Hayes versus Braun Breaker at Stand and Deliver?
Yeah, I think so.
That's a money match.
Yeah,
and then the last thing was actually there's a couple more things. Gallus returned, and they won the gauntlet to become #1 contenders. So now Gallus earns a title opportunity against the New Day, which
love it.
That'd probably be a good team to put over. They seem like good guys to get over on the New Day.
Yeah, I think so. I'm interested in it.
Yeah. Jim Tucker, is there a bot of you in the comment section?
I don't know. We got funny stuff going on.
I'm not pulling it up because I only pull.
It's a strange show.
Well, episode 130 is a weird one over here at OTM. And the last thing, Toxic Attraction won the Women's Battle Royal. So we're now getting a triple threat at Vengeance Day because they both touch the floor at the same time. It's something you don't get often. It's a callback to Royal Rumble spots from decades ago. And I don't think anybody's going to beat Roxanne here, but I think it's nice that even though Mandy Rose has left the WWE, JC and Gigi are now going to get a chance to shine here at Vengeance Day.
Yeah, I'm excited to see them out in front of a different type of crowd, see if that brings anything different or other than out of them. And life is good. Should be fun.
Yeah. So they basically just set up a bunch of stuff for Vengeance Day and then maybe even potentially Stand and Deliver, which once again, I think NXT is underrated. It's not my favorite show, but if you got the time, it's definitely worth the watch. And I enjoyed Tuesday's show, not as much as I enjoyed AEW Dynamite last night. That show, for me personally, was fantastic. If you were to give the overall show a grade without getting into what happened, what was Dynamite to you?
9. It's pretty good. Like the women's match was good. The main event was good. Takeshita was good. Like four really good matches in 2 hours. We'll take it.
Yeah, I would probably give it a 9.2 out of 10. I thought it was definitely one of the better ones we've seen in recent history. Steve said those UK visas are finally getting sorted. Gallus is back and Tyler Bate next week. Yeah. That seemed to be something that was going on with a lot of the talent. I think Piper Niven too.
On drop.
There it is. Robbie Collins out of any bot account, a Jim Tucker bot account. OTM has the weirdest stuff.
That's not an us thing. We're not the problem.
No, I don't think he's saying that. It's just the weirdest stuff happens on OTM.
And the weirdest stuff, Robbie.
Robbie said Gallus are his boys. They're tough dudes. I haven't seen much of them. And Stan said he just finished watching Dynamite a few minutes ago. So it's a good thing we're going to talk about it. But before we do that, we have to hear what the hell is everybody saying about the On the Mark Wrestling podcast.
What's everybody saying about the On the Mark podcast?
It's just insane and I love it.
Non-stop hardcore energy.
Unlike any other.
It's a great show.
We'll be right back after a brief intermission.
I got a NJPW update for you. The
Let's hear it.
announcement was that the IWGP Championship will be defended at Battle in the Valley. So we know that we will get the winner of Kazuchika Okada and Shingo Takagi. So that's going to be great. And then we already have Mercedes. Is it Monet or Money?
Money. It's like money.
Money. Because
like her
Monet,
theme says money.
But that was my question. I was like, the guy announced her Mercedes Monet, but she just a lot of money. So we got Mercedes Money versus Kairi Sane on the pre-show. We got Bobby Fish on the pre-show.
How much fish could Bobby Fish fry? If Bobby Fish could fry fish,
enough to feed a pre-show. He's going against David Finlay. JR Kratos versus Alex Coughlin is also set for the kickoff show. So IWGP men's and women's championship and the world heavyweight championship will be defended.
I will buy that pay-per-view just because you're at it. I'm going to support you.
$20.
It's only $20.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in.
And that it's different. That one's on Fight. You can just go on Fight for that, but you do have to pay for it. It's a pay-per-view. But like I'm signed up for New Japan World. I can't even read the website. So
time to learn Japanese, huh?
I'm turning Japanese. I think I'm turning Japanese every day.
What is that from again?
I have no idea. It's for I don't know. Comment below.
The jingle.
Well, it's to the side of us, but
will there be chips with this fish? I mean, fish and chips go together like lamb and tuna fish, right?
And it's in San Jose, so we're close to the coast, baby.
We can make it happen for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into Dynamite from last night. And it kicked off with a banger, as Sheamus would say. And I think it helped that the energy from the crowd was at a all-time high. Both men were, had their hard-hitting styles. And I thought this was a very good way to kick off AEW Dynamite. And this is something we've talked about on numerous shows, Tucky, is that AEW just really knows how to start hot, end hot. And that's really what gets fans talking, is the last thing you see and the first thing you see. So what was your overall thoughts here?
I think that's a product of the competition with NXT early on as well. Like that has become their style and a trademark, but developed on that Wednesday night pseudo war we used to get hyped about. That was fun. Little Monday night war kind of vibes, but the match itself was great. And you mentioned bangers. Shout out to the Banger Bros, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre from Monday. I thought that was hilarious.
How is that allowed in the WWE?
That wouldn't happen on a Disney Plus channel, but I felt it. Interesting finish.
Oh, wait, jog my memory again on what the exact finish was.
Kind of played like Moxley head injury angle.
Oh, okay. Because after the match, he was downed in the corner. Okay, yeah, I do remember. I mean, I just thought
have a concussion problem. I don't know.
They apparently like leaning into it as storyline, whether it's a work or a shoot.
Yeah, weird. Sticky.
Weird thing to use as a work. Steve's clarifying that's an 80s song from the Vapors turning Japanese. So that's where you got that from right there. But yeah, this matchup was really good. Another fun fact about it is this is only the second clean loss that Jon Moxley has had in singles competition in his AEW tenure. That speaks volumes right there. For real. His stock and what they see in him, he would not have a similar run in WWE, right? I think AEW has taken care of Moxley. Yeah, they definitely have. He's been very protected. And like Voga said, it's weird to use that on a night where the guy returned from a head injury. Yeah, just
that. Mm-hmm.
Great point, Ryan. And Steve said amazing storytelling with Hangman. His character has so many layers. The ending of him and Moxley was genius. That is a thing that I like about Hangman Page. He just seems like a throwback wrestler, and he just really cares about telling his story. He doesn't just go out there for the spots. He always gets a good reaction. And he's just overall, I mean, I've said it from the beginning of this show, one of my favorites in AEW, and him getting that win over Moxley, that's just going to shoot him to the moon up those rankings. And I wouldn't be surprised if down the road later this year, he's facing MJF for the title.
Yeah, he's that hybrid, right? He's athletic enough to keep up with some of the bigger spots, but he also holds it down on the mic, develops a story, like makes you want to watch, and
That's a good point.
furthermore be on his side, you know?
Yeah, he definitely makes you want to watch, and he's one of the most likable dudes in AEW, in my opinion. But another guy that is very likable, you see the shirt on right now. Adam Cole has returned to AEW. He is cleared to go. He talked about the injury, and it sounds like it was very serious. Him and Britt had a couple moments where he was worried about his future. He didn't know if he was going to be wrestling again, but he came to break the news that it is bad news for everybody else in the locker room because Adam Cole, baby, has returned. How do we feel about the emergence of Adam Cole?
I'm excited for him to be back. It's nice that he's back now, but not like super needed. So you can get into a long-term story if you'd like with him, where he doesn't have to shoulder the load. He was kind of a big driver there for a while prior to the injury. So I think they're in a much stronger position than when he was initially injured. Therefore, he can like knock the rust off, walk his way into the water instead of having to like jump off the high dive,
Yeah, and Erica asked that question to me while we were watching Dynamite. She wanted to know what would be next for Adam Cole now that he has returned. And it's hard to say definitively what at the moment, just because it seems like all title scenes are kind of muddled with feuds right now. She mentioned All Atlantic. I think that's beneath Adam Cole. I think Adam Cole is one of the guys that you want to put in the main event scene, amongst other names like Miro and, Lance Archer. I'm a big Lance Archer fan, but those names we're not going to be seeing. But they have options because the roster has so much talent. But I think the biggest takeaway for me is I'm just glad he's okay, and I'm glad he's back.
Yeah, and in regards to the All Atlantic comment, like, what does AEW want to do with the All Atlantic title? Do you want to make it an important title? The way that the WWE is putting stock into these mid-card titles, right? Like, we're getting good championship matches that mean something on TV fairly regularly. Adam Cole with the All Atlantic Championship establishes it as a legit championship if you have another legit champion after him. Like it can, you have to be willing to put it in the forefront though, because it's Adam freaking Cole.
Right. And the chat's going crazy for Adam Cole. Steve's saying amazing to have him back. Time for him to shine in AEW. So pleased he is healthy and okay to return. He has been missed. Yes, he has, because when he debuted at All Out, when we were in attendance, that reaction was insane. And it was followed by Bryan Danielson, of course. But I mean, there's just so much good talent. But Adam Cole, you heard that pop. You heard it when his music hit last night. That's a star. That's a world champion, in my opinion. I know you.
Fightful was able to confirm that when Excalibur said, "My notes say TBD, for this next spot says TBD," it did. They were not aware that he was returning. So that was kind of fun. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
WWE does that a lot, just so you get the most genuine reaction from your announced team. And I think that's the best way to go about certain returns. So yeah, that was a great moment. Vogus asked, Hangman's title run stunk out loud. Hard to disagree with that. Will it be different if he won this time? I think yes, if he beats MJF. What about you?
Well, yeah, first time with the strap, not a lot to write home about. There is some validity to that statement. Hopefully now he's learned, right? And if this Hangman knows how to, the other person in the feud is pretty important too. So I'd like to see him in a new shot for it.
Yeah, me too. So excited to see what's to come from him. Robbie Collins also glad he's back. Adam Cole, baby, in the chat. So another awesome thing that happened on Dynamite Talk when we are on the road to Revolution, and the road to revolution begins for Bryan Danielson, who has to earn his way into that Iron Man match against MJF at that pay-per-view. And it began here against Konosuke Takeshita in what was a match that there was a lot of hype behind, because everybody knows how good Takeshita is. There are reports that he is going to be getting pushed very soon in AEW. And I think these two lived up to all those expectations that the internet was creating, because we had near falls, a very competitive Takeshita. There were points where he would hit his finisher, and I thought Danielson was going to lose. And then that was it. We're not going to see Danielson at MJF at Revolution. Like, Takeshita, man, that guy is the real deal. And he looks big out there, especially next to Bryan Danielson.
Oh yeah. Yep. He's real. He is stateside. He is here. And he is the darling right now. Still without a win on Dynamite.
Really? Where's his win? Probably Rampage or Dark or something like that.
They mentioned during the show that he's still seeking the coveted win on Dynamite. So I don't know, but on Wednesdays, not a great resume right now, but fans love him.
I love him. I think he's going to be a star in the business, and I believe he's still in his 20s, if I'm not mistaken.
27, and he's got 10 years in the biz already. Like,
come on,
he's been mixing it up for 10 years already.
Yeah, he's going to be good. Do you remember what they said next week's opponent was for Danielson? Because I know he's got to keep fighting.
Did they announce it?
I think they did. If they didn't, let me know in the comment section. And Vogus is right. We will see Takeshita in South Bend in 9 days. We bought tickets to go to Warrior Wrestling again. We're making the road trip. It's about an hour and a half away. The card looks pretty good. Maybe next week we'll have Jeremy Tillman. He can hype up the show because he is one of the referees. He was on one of the past episodes of OTM. So that'd be a good way to get excited for next weekend's Warrior Wrestling, because we know in 2 weekends we have the Royal Rumble, which is a fun time for everyone, and a fun time at OTM because we will be doing the, what do we call it? The Rumble Lottery, I guess. Is that the verbiage for it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You need what, 5, 6, 10 people. You got to figure out, you got to get the math right. But yeah, everyone, you buy in, and then whoever wins, you just Venmo them. But it's fun. You get random picks. So that's like the fun of it. It's out of your hands, but it is a vested interest, especially if you get some of those middle numbers where like, I have the Hurricane. Cool.
Like, you're not going to win, and then you just laugh about it with the people you're watching with. Oh, I think Stan might be right. He said Bandito. I think that sounds right.
That's going to be.
Oh yeah, that will be. Bandito's awesome.
Bandito's real. Yeah.
Me and you saw him together, right? Wasn't he on a GCW show when we went?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, Stan also said unrelated, but I'd like to see Evil Danhausen turn on Orange Cassidy and take the All Atlantic title. It's an option. I'm not a fan of Danhausen. I think most people that watch or listen know that, but SCW Steve says, so true, Tucky. No win on Dynamite for Takeshita. The opposite story for Jade Cargill. Imagine the pop when Takeshita gets that win on Dynamite over Jade Cargill. Steve did not say that for the people listening at a later date.
Is that Batty Takeshita?
I can see it. But yeah, that was Danielson Takeshita. Great match. Good stuff on Dynamite. A couple more things, or maybe one. I'm not sure. Yeah, a couple more things. Obviously, the mixed tag match did happen with Toni Storm, Saraya, Britt Baker, and Jamie Hayter, but no Mercedes Moné. It went off without a hitch. It was a good mixed tag. Britt and Jamie get the win. And another false report for what was that guy's name again? McGoo Butthole.
Butt Cheeks Magoo 69 on
another
Twitter.
Wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised we didn't see Mercedes. I think we've talked about it a few times already. She doesn't seem like the right fit for her.
Yeah, a lot in a pretty quick window too. A lot of news, a lot of action. So last week, Fightful said going into the show, like, look into the Saraya promo to find the partner, like as if there were going to be like clues. And then she's like, I choose you, Toni Storm. And you're like, huh? What? So it was a little confusing. A lot of people confused, but it was fun.
I didn't ever buy into it. And I think they were just kind of making comments like that just to get the hype up and people to tune in and watch regardless, even though they probably knew Mercedes wasn't going to show up. Great comment from Stan here. I totally agree. Jamie Hayter, fire emojis. She is fantastic. I love the presentation. I love when tag teams, match gear. I think Jamie and Britt looked like $1 million last night. It's just one of those weird things as a wrestling fan I enjoy. I don't know about you. The matching gear thing just does it.
Yeah, I mean, and both sides. We had similar colors on both sides. I'm into that. I just like the look of it. Yeah.
It's good stuff. Voger says Tony got stood up, it seemed, by the teases. And then he also said the crowd booed when she didn't show up. I didn't think they knew she wasn't coming.
Yeah, like early on, the women had to earn them. They had to win them back early on. It sounded hostile for real.
It was a good match though, and Sheeta did get involved in it, which it's just gonna further prolong that storyline probably with Toni Storm. I'm not sure who the next challenger for Jamie is going to be. Maybe it's Saraya since she defeated Britt Baker. What would be your prediction if Jamie had to have an opponent at Revolution?
Yeah, Revolution's not that far away. Like
it's gotta be Saraya, right?
I don't think you're gonna break apart the Britt Baker and Jamie yet for Revolution. I think that'll be down the line. Double or Nothing, maybe. We'll see. Yeah, Saraya. Who else, right?
Is it too early, though, to have Saraya go into that title match and lose? Because I don't think she would win if she faced Jamie this early in her run. Maybe I'm wrong.
What's her tenure going to look like? Like, do they have her? Like, is she going to be like pretty regular?
Past 3 years is what I've saw in her contract.
Yeah, I wonder how many appearances, if that's kind of how it's structured or not. But if Saraya is going to be around a while and you think she'll be the champ eventually, sure. Jesus.
Can you read that comment, please?
Just make it Rio and snap her in half.
That's from Ryan Vogus.
Big Jamie Hayter guy, not an anti-Rio guy at all.
Yeah, that could be a possibility too. What Stan's saying is a Toni Storm rematch. That's definitely on the table as well. And Juggernaut's in the chat. We've seen Juggernaut before. What's going on? He says, "What's up, guys? Good to see you here as we finish up talking about AEW Dynamite with that main event." And what a main event it was, Tucky. Going into this one, though, I noticed they were kind of short on time, so I was a little worried they wouldn't be able to do much, but they didn't waste any time because they went straight to it here in Game 7.
They were aware of the clock. I have a new wrinkle for the trios titles ladder match.
Let's hear it.
Last night you only had to grab one title, but the next time you do it, you have to grab 2 out of 3. 2 out of 3.
Just all 3. Every competitor has to grab a title, and then the match is over.
Well, every person from your team. What if one guy runs up and grabs the title from the other team? That's why I say 2 out of 3. Okay, whoever gets the last title, all 3 titles have to come out, and you have 3 kind of big ladder spots if you want to put them in, or 2. It would feel, as long as they don't do the climb up the ladder, get pulled down thing, that's when it becomes a little tedious. Just somebody up and down, but the 2 out of 3 titles, thanks, Finn.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. That would be a nice tweak to the rules, but
I like Bogus' suggestion.
Whoever grabs the titles is the new trio.
Yeah,
it took me a second to register. I see what he's saying.
The Lucha Bros and Matt Jackson, like we are the trios champs.
Super King Cero Miedo.
Or you say, hey, if you want to, you do a 15-man scramble. You say, hey, if you want to be a champion in AEW, there's just 3 titles up there. You're the trios champs, baby.
Knock yourselves out, guys.
I think that would be a good Twitter one. What would be the oddest trios put together, singles people put together? What is the oddest
in AEW?
Look, attitudes, personality. I think that would be fun to chat about.
If anybody in the comment section can think that quick, let's hear it in the comment section right now. Robbie fell asleep before this main event. Heard it was good, though. It was fantastic. And like Steve said, it had all the big spots, and they maximized the time that they had. I mean, Kenny hitting that Terminator, Pac moves out of the way, he goes through the table. I mean, there was just so many moments in such a short time that you couldn't have looked at your phone, checked your text. You really just had to be into the match so you wouldn't miss anything. And obviously Kenny Omega is the one that grabs the title after hitting the one-winged angel to Rey Fenix off that ladder. And honestly, Tuck, this match was so good, I put it on my matches of the year list already. In that short amount of time, I think just the car crash of it all, it was just you had to see it. You just had to see it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Not a bad nominee. Hopefully it's beat because it's already January. So we hope as wrestling fans, right? But hey, good match.
Well, that's how my list goes too. I start, just whatever I enjoy, I put it on there. And as we go, I kind of compare what my matches of the year are, and I'll erase a few here and there. So that match could eventually get knocked off. Ospreay and Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 17 is already on that list as well. So we are only 12 days into 2023, and I have 2 nominees for match of the year.
There you go.
Juggernaut says Danhausen, Omega, and Orange Cassidy. But Danhausen and Orange Cassidy have a dynamic. They already have something. Yeah. I like good effort, though, Juggernaut. Omega with them would be very weird.
Yeah. I want like Brian Cage, Danhausen, and just like the look of it being so contrasting.
Let's get Hook in there too, because Hook's just a quiet assassin.
Yeah,
thoughts on what are they calling him? Hook?
Jungle Hook.
Jungle Hook.
Like the
I feel like they just don't have
any.
They don't have anything to do for those two as singles. I think that's what it is.
There you go, boys. And hey, sometimes awkward situations could there's because they're both good.
The bar.
Like it's just it's doable. We'll see. It does feel funky right now, though.
Yeah, they're just like Jungle Boy. He's so good, but Hook is too. FTW champion. Jungle Hook, because
you can protect Hook that way. He can be in really good matches, but doesn't have to carry the load because he's still new, relatively young.
Oh, Steve's got a good one. Steve said his odd 3 trios champions would be Danhausen, Jake Hager, who really likes that hat, and MJF. Yeah,
and I like Vogus's too.
Hook, MJF, and Sting. Oh man, these are great. I love it. That was a good idea. Keep them coming because we still got a few more minutes here to talk about some wrestling. But yeah, a lot of people kind of mad that the Elite got the titles back. I think it's a good way to elevate another challenger. And I think with this series, Lucha Bros aren't harmed from it.
And now the Lucha Bros become a pretty good contender against the Acclaimed.
Good point.
You know what I mean? You could do that. Pat can do his own thing. You could have done the same thing with the Bucks and Omega. I get it. But it's not like Death Triangle is going to be without things to do.
And let's be honest, the Elite are the rightful trio champion. We know what happened after All Out. I really don't think it was their fault. We don't know the details. I'm not going to point fingers because you never know. CM Punk could be back in AEW. There are reports that CM Punk is still interested in making that return. So that prediction I had from last episode might become the reality. There we go. I found the word there. Don't worry. You guys should interview Jake Hager's hat.
Dude, Jake Hager told Ricky Starks he was going to slap his face off his face yesterday.
And then Starks commented on his speech impediment.
Is he the big dummy? Like that's the shtick?
Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, that's the gimmick. When does Babyface Kenny
is a $2.99 Jake Hager AEW figure?
No, I'm not.
Clearance.
$2.99 is what you're saying? I thought you were saying 20.
It was $3. Yeah, it was $3. Yeah.
$3, that's fair. When does Babyface Kenny go for MJF?
We got options. And you know why we have options? Because one of them is MJF.
Yeah. You put anybody up against MJF, you got your Babyface. It's as easy as that.
He's
so,
and then Adam Cole kind of babyfacey yesterday.
Yeah, I would like that. And you got challengers for MJF.
Oh, yeah.
You have Danielson, Page, Adam Cole, Kenny. There's probably other names that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head because that roster is so loaded with talent. I don't know about Andrade because I think he said goodbye in a tweet the other day, which bring him back to WWE. That's fine. We'll take him over here on the W side of things. But here we are at the end of the show. We award our most valuable mark, the MVM of OTM, the person that is interacting the most, giving the best quality comments. And we had a very active and weird chat this evening, but the OGs held strong in the chat.
It was a ride.
It was a ride indeed. But we do have a new MVM of OTM, SCW, Steve.
Congratulations, Steve. Bell to bell. That was a bell to bell effort, Iron Man level effort. People don't want to remember. People forget. First comment before the stream. So, he got here early, grabbed a good seat, got the best view, gave us, gave it all, gave it his all. So, shout out to Steve. What a guy.
And he asked us questions, as did Ryan Vogus and Robbie Collins. But you know what? We're giving it to Steve this week. In my eyes, you guys are all valuable marks, but you're not the most valuable mark this week for episode 130. And what an episode it was. Like I said, we had a very active chat. I had to boot a couple people because it got a little weird down there, but this is what happens when you go live, right?
Yeah. Pros and cons. So,
hey, not all of our episodes will be live going forward because, like I said, Talk's got a busy schedule coming up. We might have to pre-record some things, do it the old-fashioned way, in podcast form. But these are technically live shows that we just create podcast audio for. Not really a true podcast if you think about it, but it is our podcast indeed. So appreciate it, guys, from Steve in the chat. Thank you, Robbie, as Robbie acknowledges the MVM of OTN. And what a episode it was, Tucky. Why don't you send us home?
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in the same time, same place, right here next week. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, at Pod on the Mark. Okay. If you're on Facebook, On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, it's easy. And after you do that on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit the like button. You get it. On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.com. Get all your merch needs. We appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling
Podcast.